Coming up, see a World War II vet experience his dream flying a P-51 Mustang, take an idyllic trip to a flying destination in Washington State.
We take the pulse of the industry with a look at the aircraft shipment numbers. And Chicago's Meigs Field reopening? Well, find out how it could happen. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Melissa Redinger.
Another week and Washington was shut down once again. But this time, it was due to the weather, not political maneuvering.
And surprisingly, political wrangling actually got us something good for general aviation. That spending bill President Trump signed on Friday to keep the government from shutting down includes up to $3.5 million to help 3 airports affected by presidential TFRs. 2 airports near President Trump's New Jersey and Florida homes lost more than $1 million in 2017. That's because just about every business on the airport couldn't operate because the TFR closed the airports. AOPA is working with the FAA and the Secret Service to create security procedures to allow the airport to conduct some operations while under a presidential TFR. But the nasty weather didn't shut down the annual General Aviation Manufacturers Association State of the Industry event.
Well, hey, many of GAMA's board members are from places where snow doesn't really stop them anyhow, so hey, they just laced up their boots and kept on going. And that kind of sums up the aviation industry for last year. Making airplanes is on a slow but steady climb.
2018 was a good year for business aviation.
Good year indeed. First time since 2013 that all sectors from pistons to big business jets to rotorcraft all saw an increase. Take piston engine aircraft, for example.
The piston airplane shipments in 2018 were 1,139 piston airplanes, up 5% year over year. If you look at the billings for this segment, because of the increased performance of these airplanes and the sophisticated nature of the systems on the airplanes, billings were up to $866 million.
Cirrus, the big player in this market, they sold almost as many aircraft as the rest of the piston engine manufacturers combined. They also sold 63 SF-50 Cirrus Vision jets. Honda claimed to be the leader in the light jet category, 37 Honda jets out the door. You can read a lot more details on our websites. But perhaps the most important news out of this press conference was that the industry says there is a great future with great paying jobs for young people in aviation.
Clean sheet design to actually type certificate is a much faster process than it might have been in years previous. So pace of activity is going faster, and even with additive manufacturing and other techniques out there, we need to develop this workforce. Now on the pilot side, the good news is wages are rising rapidly. In fact, we all know we have a pilot shortage, and there's a lot of work being done to be able to go and feed that supply, and our sister associations are doing a great job trying to address that. It's brought the aviation community together. So the airlines are partnering with programs such as the ones that AOPA have put out to be able to get young people in the door to be able to do the training.
And the manufacturing jobs are becoming high-paying and high-tech. It's no longer all about pounding rivets.
Very encouraging news.
It is encouraging. Great to see the numbers up. It's not very often we get to see them all up. Usually there's one category that's kind of a cantankerous one and doesn't quite come up. So it's all good stuff.
Right. We hope they keep going up.
Right, absolutely.
The avionics industry is up too. The Aircraft Electronics Association reported this week that avionics sales totaled more than $2.7 billion last year. That's up more than 17% from the previous year. And an anniversary for an iconic piece of avionics gear. 25 years ago, the FAA granted a TSO to the Garmin GPS 155, the first GPS navigator approved for all phases of IFR flight, departure, en route, and approach. It was the beginning of a revolution.
I can't believe it's been 25 years ago that we certified the first IFR approach-proof GPS receiver. And no one really knew Garmin very much at the time. And we kept our nose down to the grindstone, worked on this very diligently, and it was an awesome experience to be able to come out and say we did it at that point.
AOPA was an early advocate of making GPS available to the civilian world. One of the very first GPS approaches charted was to runway 5 here in Frederick. AOPA President Phil Boyer flew FAA Administrator David Hinson on that approach, and today more than 4,000 GPS approaches to airports that didn't have or would never get an ILS. So amazing, hard to believe it's 25 years, hard to believe you and I were there when Phil took the administrator up.
Yes, I remember that very well. And those were heady days. GPS was just changing everything. Moving maps were, just over the horizon at that point. I remember being out at Garmin and flying the 155 on some approaches out there, just being amazed that you could use this GPS signal all the way down to low approaches, and it was more complicated in those days. So today's TSO IFR receivers are a little easier to use, but nonetheless, it was fun.
I remember how hard it was to get the FAA to accept the technology that we could get it certified in an airplane.
Right. But once the FAA got on board, they began developing approaches at an amazing pace.
Yes, they did.
And so they've done a good job at that. And speaking of revolutions, it started a revolution in a previous era, the Piper Cub, which really brought personal flying to the masses. And we're bringing it to you if you're the lucky winner of the AOPA Sweepstakes Super Cub, that is. And you'll get it with floats, skis, and tundra tires. And that'll make the perfect machine for just about any type of flying you'd want to do. AOPA's Alyssa Cobb shows us what's great about the big, fat tires.
Kickin' fun. These bulbous tundra tires on the Sweepstakes Super Cub are a common sight in Alaska, but not so much in the lower 48 where we've been flying it around for the shows. And pilots just can't resist getting their hands or feet on those tires. Whether it's a little fist bump to the tire or a quick kick, they just want to touch them. And it's a perfect perch for kids to climb up on top of and get a family picture. I even use them to climb up on to get in the airplane. These tires, not so good on pavement, it's a little hard on them, but they're right at home on grass, gravel, and dirt. And oh, the fun you're gonna have with these tires in the backcountry.
Find more about your Sweepstakes Super Cub on the Sweeps website.
Do you remember this iconic airport on the shores of Lake Michigan? Well, it might be coming back, maybe. As you recall, then Chicago Mayor Richard Daley closed it in the middle of the night, bulldozing X's across the runway. Now Chicago businessman and Republican mayoral candidate Willie Wilson has made reopening MiGs a part of his platform. He says the airport will bring a lot more income than a park. Chicago has plenty of parks, he says, and so we do wish him success in his run for mayor. But we do have a note. The last time a Republican was elected to Chicago mayor, 1927.
We'll lay odds on that one?
No, thank you.
It would be great to see it come back, but I'm not that hopeful, sorry. Coming up after the break, 80 drones for AOPA's 80th year, and see what draws pilots to Washington State's San Juan Islands.
And his smile says it all. Take a flight in a Mustang with a World War II vet. We'll be right back.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.
Welcome back. This is a big year for us here at AOPA, our 80th anniversary. To celebrate, we're bringing a drone show to each of our fly-ins. 80 drones will light up the night sky like candles on AOPA's birthday cake. The Great Lakes Drone Company will put on the show. The highlight will be the 80th anniversary Star Dance. The drone shows will just be one piece of all the incredible experiences at our 3 2019 fly-ins. Find all the details at our newly updated fly-in website.
And a quick reminder about drones. Monday is the deadline to have a visible registration number. Previously, you could put the number inside the battery compartment, but the feds want to be able to see who the drone belongs to if they pick it up. Remember, any drone that weighs more than half a pound has to be registered with the FAA. It's easy and cheap, $5.
The fly-in designed for the next generation of pilots is returning to the Triple Tree Aerodrome this summer. It's all about encouraging and inspiring youth in aviation, although aviators of any age are welcome. It takes place June 21st to the 23rd. This year it'll be even better with a larger Saturday night cookout sponsored by AOPA. The Triple Tree Aerodrome in South Carolina, with its immaculate 7,000-foot grass runway, is the ideal place for such a fly-in.
And speaking of ideal fly-in destinations, AOPA Senior Features Editor Julie Walker found a beautiful place to visit in Washington State. See why a visit to the San Juan Islands is worth the trip.
Whether by ferry boat or flight, come see why Washington's San Juan Islands are an inspiration for the senses.
Hey, we're in Seattle, King County Airport, on our way to Friday Harbor in the San Juan Islands.
The San Juan Islands are located in the Salish Sea between Anacortes, Washington, and Victoria, British Columbia. Friday Harbor and San Juan Island are used interchangeably, but Friday Harbor is the town on San Juan Island. Most visitors use the Washington State Ferry System, which operates year-round and accommodates your car and bikes. The ferry ride is about 2 hours long, but flying is truly the best way to see the islands, whether on your own or by air carrier. Kenmore Air is the oldest continuously operating carrier here. Friday Harbor is an easy, walkable town with charming restaurants, inviting shops, and expansive views of the harbor and mountains. If you enjoy seafood, you can't get much fresher or more delicious. Because of the arid climate, lavender grows here second only to the lavender fields of France, and there's a lavender farm in the heart of San Juan Island. English Camp and American Camp are at either ends of the island, remembering the strange pig war and the Native American history here. The views from America Camp are breathtaking. You can see Canada from here. Drives around the island are on a single-lane, pine tree-bordered roads and hiking trails that offer incredible views. There are several whale-watching companies in Friday Harbor. You can see the whales from big tourist boats to single-person kayaks. Activities such as kayaking, hiking, and biking invite you to enjoy the island.
After all that kayaking and whale watching, you're gonna get hungry. How about a Dungeness crab? And speaking of Dungeness crab, there's a great place to find them down on the harbor. It's a floating seafood market owned by Brenda and her husband, and they've been here since 1999. You can get Dungeness crab, but you can also get the world's best smoked salmon, the best smoked salmon I've ever had. A trip down on the harbor isn't complete without a visit to Popeye. She's a one-eyed seal. She's here visiting us right now.
The largest public airport is at Friday Harbor, and it is a gracious, welcoming port of call for pilots and visitors. World War II fighter pilot Roy Franklin started flying passengers here in 1948, and the town bought his airfield in 1982. The terminal bears his name. He started San Juan Airlines, which, along with Kenmore Air and others, provide essential air transportation. The roar of the seaplane, the call of a hawk, the whoosh of a whale. This is the San Juan Islands. Julie Walker, AOPA Live.
You can read all about the incredible San Juan Islands and other incredible places to fly in the March AOPA Pilot Magazine Destinations issue.
Great story, Julie. And the Air Safety Institute wants to hear your story. The goal is to find safety-related stories from members that ASI can use to create future videos and podcasts. Find the link on the AOPA Air Safety Institute homepage.
To increase the safety of your airplane, you can now get an airframe parachute system for your RV-10. The system from BRS Aerospace can be added while the airplane's being built, or it can be added later. The cost is around $26,000. BRS is best known for Cirrus parachutes, but the company also has retrofit parachutes for other popular models. The company says nearly 400 lives have been saved thanks to the parachute system.
Flying a warbird is on many pilots' bucket lists, but for one man, he'd been there and done that, well, except for one. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop shows us that some things are worth the wait.
Jack Hallett is a hero. Don't try telling him that, but his record speaks for itself. He was 21 when Pearl Harbor was attacked. The next day, he signed up with the U.S. Army Air Corps, flying combat missions in many different fighters: P-38s, P-39s, P-40s, P-47s, just about every fighter we had. Just about. Jack always wanted to fly the P-51 Mustang. In the war, he thought it would get him favor with the ladies, not that he needed any help. But in his late 90s, the Mustang still eluded him, until the Collings Foundation got word of this fighter pilot with a bucket list.
All right, Jack, here we go. I'm ready.
As Collings Foundation pilot Fred Bauer makes TF-51D Mustang Toulouse knots roar to life from the runway in Leesburg, Florida, Jack is all grins. This moment he's waited a lifetime for does not disappoint. They form up with another airplane to get some air-to-air shots, and Jack's grin steals the show.
From here I can see the smile of the guy in the back. His smile is so big. Yeah, he is.
And it gets even bigger as this combat flyboy takes the stick of his dream machine.
Go ahead and fly the airplane around a little bit. Okay. All right, you have the airplane. What do I need for airspeed? For rolls right around 250 like this. For loop, we're going to need a lot more. So try a couple rolls, and then we'll set them for a loop. You have there, so bring the nose up about 20 degrees. A little bit more. All right, now stop and roll. There you go. Keep that aileron in so the wings are level. Nice. Wow. All right, turn me back around that way.
They roll and loop together in the Florida sky.
When you get to the vertical, you got to slow it over a little bit. And right here, I got to put a little bit of a pull again.
Jack would go on to earn the rank of Major and be awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross.
It's been so long.
All these decades later, he's still got it, and flying still has him. He's greeted with the hero's welcome in New Smyrna Beach. Like his passion for these old warbirds, his smile will not soon fade.
This has been more fun, Fred. Good.
Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
That is so cool. Congratulations. Really fun.
Oh, that's so inspirational.
It really is. You grin the whole time. Absolutely loved it.
Great story.
It's pretty neat.
Well, that's it for the show this week. If you have any comments, send us a note at aopalive@aopa.org.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here next week.